Welcome back to the MegaMets podcast, folks.
How are we going to start this?
It's Windy City Riot from Chicago, which will be tomorrow night.
Are you all right? You're having camera problems.
I'm fine.
Mets.
I'm fine, Jose.
What? Yeah, but your camera is basically out of sync for whatever reason.
Might be all the app. Let me see if closing.
I don't know why.
Let me see if closing a few things.
You might want to have to. Yeah.
Okay, let's see. Did that help?
Let's see. I think it's a bit better.
Okay. Tomorrow night, Wintrust Arena, Chi-Town. We kick it off with Zane J against CJ Tino in a strong Survivor match.
Ooh, this will be a fun match. A really fun match, to say the least. Who's your pick?
I'm going to say Zane J. He's been holding his spot for a good while now. And if he can get through to November, he's going into the main Noge dojo. That's where I'm going with this one.
You're probably doing that. I'm also going to pick CJ Tino.
I said Zane J.
Oh, yeah, you took Zane J. I take CJ Tino. It's a kickoff match, so we don't know what's going to happen.
That's true. You're up.
All right, now the card can officially begin. For our first match, one-on-one, it's TJP versus Tom Lawler.
Yeah, folks, I screwed up with the Dynasty thing. It's not going to be TJ who's the wild card. It's Darby, which means they're going to set Darby and Mox up for All-In, not Double or Nothing.
Just wow.
God effing damn it.
Yeah, I can expect the amount of disappointment that I'm seeing.
I mean, at least we'll get a good Anarchy in the Arena main event. Omega, Swerve, and Page versus the Bucks and Okada at Double or Nothing.
I know.
Anyway, recently Tom Lawler has popped back up in MLW, teaming with Matt Riddle as the Filthy Bros. Both competed last Saturday in the Battle Riot, where Riddle, busted ribs and all, retained the MLW World Heavyweight title.
That's madness.
And you know who the last guy he eliminated was?
Who?
Rob Van Dam.
God damn.
Yeah.
I did not think we'd be seeing that.
But when you consider that most cards are pointing in the right direction for the United Empire lately, I mean, Newman and Cobb, the new IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team Champions, Okan, the New Japan World Television Champion, the new World Television Champ, and with Templario getting set to challenge El Desperado in Fukuoka or Hiroshima, whichever one it's going to be, at the end of April, start of May, things are coming up roses for the United Empire. And I think the trend continues here. I'm going to give it to TJP.
I'll probably also give it to TJP on this one.
Next
now
up,
it's your turn.
Number one contendership for the Strong Women's Championship. Mina Shirakawa against Azumi. Winner goes to Resurgence to face the CEO, Mercedes Moné.
This will be fun. Very fun, to say the least.
Now, in Stardom Talents, Mina wants another crack after she dropped the Rev Pro British Women's title at Wrestle Dynasty. Azumi came up short, but I believe it's Strong Style Evolved.
Yep.
Both have a bone to pick with Mercedes.
Pretty much.
I'm going to take Shirakawa.
I'm taking AZM. Whoever wins, they're going to be in for a fight against Mercedes.
Which will go down May 9th or 10th in California at Resurgence.
This will be a good one. Have they not set up the card yet, or is it a bit too early?
Too early to get to it.
Fair enough. Now it's my turn. For the NJPW Strong Openweight Tag Team Championship, we have the Intergalactic Jetsetters, Kevin Knight and KUSHIDA, versus the world-class Wrecking Crew, who are the champions, Royce Isaacs and Jorel Nelson.
You know what I believe is their second defense of the titles?
Yeah, it probably is their second defense. The thing didn't even mention it.
Recently, Kevin Knight signed a contract with AEW and competed in the Owen Hart tournament, even though actually he entered that tournament as an alternate. You know who Will was supposed to face in the tournament?
Who?
He was supposed to face Switchblade Jay White, but Jay suffered an injury to his hand and couldn't compete.
Yikes.
So Knight took his spot. Did pretty good, but he still lost the match.
That's true. That's very true.
KUSHIDA, on the other hand, went on to compete in the Battle Riot the day prior. Didn't win it, though.
A shame.
And yet, one MLW title actually got snatched up by a Japanese talent, and it's their women's title, or their featherweight championship. It's now in the hands of Tokyo Joshi's Shoko Nakajima.
Unfortunate.
Or fortunate, depending on how you look at it. I mean, Shoko will be at WrestleCon this WrestleMania weekend, April 17th through the 20th.
Uh-huh.
In Sin City. Anyway, I don't see the Jetsetters winning this one. I'm going to give it to World Class.
I'm also going to give it to World Class because they're doing pretty well as tag champs. Hope they have a strong reign at least.
Next up, the first matchup was essentially announced for this card. For the NJPW Strong Openweight title, in a 30-minute Ironman match, the war-ready Gabe Kidd defends against the Stone Pitbull, Tomohiro Ishii. This battle went to a draw in San Jose back in January.
Wow.
And that was to open the card.
That's to open it? My word.
This time, it's going to be determined by the amount of falls you get. If this ends in a draw, they're going to go at it again at Resurgence. Then they'll go... Well, actually, they wouldn't risk doing it at Resurgence. Maybe Capital Collision.
Maybe. That's kind of a possibility.
Especially since we know that the main event for Dontaku is Dog Pound Steel Cage, War Dogs versus House of Torture.
Why you gotta mention that?
If this goes to a draw, save it for Capital Collision, because doing it again at Resurgence, there's not enough recovery time for Gabe to be ready for that. Best round this plans out, I'm going to say, since this is Kid's 7th defense, I'm going to say 2-1 Kid.
Give it up to Kid since he'll make it his 8th victory at best.
What's your score?
Well, since it's 30 minutes and their last match ended in a draw, I'd say it would probably be 2-1. Kid wins.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty fair.
You're up.
And now it's my turn. A tag team match. This is against Rocky Romero and El Phantasmo versus Los Ingobernables de Japon, Tetsuya Naito and Titan.
I find it weird that Teton is actually not competing in this year's Best of the Super Juniors tournament.
Yeah.
I mean, for those of you who want to know who is in this year's Best of the Super Juniors, here's what was announced at Sakura Genesis for the participants of this year's upcoming Best of the Super Juniors 32, which we will do a prognostication on once we get the match cards set up.
Yeah.
More news. Let's see. Here it is. Our participants this year are El Desperado, Master Wado, who missed last year's due to a knee injury, Hiromu Takahashi, Kushida, Taguchi, who missed last year's due to a cycling accident, Yo, Kevin Knight, Yo, of course, missing due to that shoulder issue. Ninja Mac, who is now signed full-time to New Japan. Kosei Fujita, Robbie Eagles, Taiji Ishimori, Bushi, Francesco Akira, Clark Connors, Sho, Yoshinobu Kanemaru, a returning Dragon Dia from Dragon Gate, a mystery opponent from CMLL, represented from CMLL, and making their debuts in the tournament from DDT, Mao, and from AEW, Nick Wayne.
Mm-hmm.
So it's shocking to me Teton's didn't make the cut this year.
I'm a bit disappointed.
So who are you going to pull? Star Jr., Virus, Ultimo Guerrero, Templario. I mean, it could be Templario, given that he's challenging Despy for the junior title anyway. Mystico.
I'm not sure.
But that said, with this match, I'm giving it to Los Ingobernables de Japon.
As am I, all things considered.
Next up, a special singles match. Could mean top contender status, but I don't know. Zack Sabre Jr. versus David Finlay. I'm going to give this to Zack because, again, we already got our Dontaku main event match for Finlay. It's him and the War Dogs against the House of Torture in the Dog Pound cage. I think Zack should win this one to get that New Japan Cup victory that was taken from him back. Know what I mean?
Yeah, I get you. This is tough because both of these guys are very talented. It can make for a really good match.
Especially with the contrast in styles. Zack, a submission specialist. Finlay, he's turned more into a bit of a brawler type.
And their styles will clash to deliver a good match. But if I were to pick, I'll probably pick Zack.
You're up for this one, and believe me, get the tissue boxes, folks.
This is gonna hurt. The Hiroshi Tanahashi last match in the USA Final Road Kinship. Hiroshi Tanahashi versus Konosuke Takeshita.
I don't understand why Wikipedia had this as a never openweight title match because there's no logic in that. It's clearly, given the time limit, this match between Tanahashi and Takeshita is not for the never openweight title, mostly because would you really want to put the title back on Tanahashi's waist when he's basically on his career's on its last legs? No. Know what I mean?
Yeah.
And now Tanahashi's at that point in his career with this road tour that it's basically going downhill. April 2nd, he lost to Ryusuke Taguchi. Shingo Takagi in Yamamishi. He lost to Shingo. April 4th, beat Taguchi in Korakuen Hall. April 5th, got pummeled by Shota Umino in Ryogoku. Here, I expect him to get burned in a raging fire. I'm giving this to Takeshita.
Yep.
And finally, the main event for the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. The challenger, the roughneck, Shota Umino, who has a far more aggressive streak to him, faces off against a man who, in just a little less than 9 weeks, will be since winning the gold in February, will be making his 4th defense. Aramusha, the Furious Samurai, and IWGP World Heavyweight Champion, Hiroki Goto.
Yeah.
Umino has made his mission statement that he says he wants to lead Hontai into the new era. But given how all we've gotten is empty promises and shortcomings along the way, which has led to many in the Japanese crowd basically turning on Shota, a la they did to Naito in 2013 all the way through 14, before he went on an excursion in 15 to CMLL and joined the original Los Ingobernables before bringing that idea back with him to Japan to form Los Ingobernables de Japon that fall. What is Umino to do? On the one hand, this is a match where I have brought the coin out for two reasons. On the one hand, it would be a good time to pull the trigger and give the win to Umino. But on the other hand, you really want to shortchange Goto by giving him a title run of less than 60 days? A guy who was busted his ass for over 22 years, spending 17, almost 18 of those as a heavyweight. You kept him out of the title, out of the picture for this title for 10 years after he lost to Okada for the gold for the final time in 2016. Which basically convinced Goto to go with the flow and join Chaos, which has now been disbanded and folded itself into Hontai. Since the 53rd anniversary event. I don't think you should shortchange Goto.
No way.
But if Umino's going to take a shortcut to get it, so be it. Which is why I'm bringing the coin out. Heads, I'm taking Goto. Tails, Umino. Say when.
When?
Coin says tails, but I'm going to say Goto.
I'm surprised you made the right decision on that one. Goto will retain, no doubt about it. Umino will try, but I don't think he's got what it takes to who had to keep the title in.
I was wondering, unlike Battle in the Valley, which was also available on Triller, and I checked last night, this will not be available on Triller. You have to get it on New Japan World, on watchnewjapanworld.com. You can do it both with or without a subscription to the platform. I do it with, but you can purchase it without for about $20. In any case, that's it for tonight's show. We'll be back next week when we do the big one. Our predictions for nights 1 and 2 of WrestleMania 41.
Live from Sin City.
See you next Friday.
Yep. I'll see you then when it happens.
For the pick show, the event's Saturday and Sunday. But anyway, comment, like, share, and subscribe to our channels. He's Mega Man NG. I'm Mets2128. Also subscribe to the members of the ABSN. Goodbye and good night. Bang.
Bang.